What's up, guys? StudFit here, joined by 5 of my very good friends here in the Mario Kart Tour community. We have some familiar faces, some brand new. You'll notice my background is not what it normally is. I am in Omaha, Nebraska for work on this Friday night, flying out first thing in the morning. But that's why you don't see the background. But I also have my Draco 655 shirt. I am going to be wearing this everything that I'm on until Draco hits 1,000 subscribers. So if you don't like the shirt, go ahead and subscribe now so I can start taking it off. But this is a good intro just to say hello to Draco 655. Welcome back. Appreciate you joining.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me. Please do not keep the shirt even if I hit more than 1,000. Is the best shirt in the world. I mean, thank you for having me back again. A pleasure to talk with everybody here. Yeah, let's have some fun tonight.
Awesome, man. And another familiar face you're probably well familiar with is Kevin Garrett. Thanks for joining us, KG.
Yeah, great to be here. It's been a while. We always have engaging discussions.
Always engaging, that's for sure. We also have Firestorm for your second episode. Welcome back, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to hang out with you guys tonight.
I think last time you were in Alabama, but now you're back in the home state of Florida, and excited to have you engaged. And we also have the extra Groovy. He's just chilling tonight. Well, welcome back, Groovy, for your second episode.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back and be in the same room with you guys again, man. So it's gonna be a pleasure to be in like not a debating mood, but you know what I mean, in the atmosphere of good conversation, you know, healthy, fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then the brand new face, Grievous Kronos, aka Kronos. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I know you're going to be driving home, so I know you'll pop off. But before you do, tell us a little bit about your story, how you got started in Mario Kart Tour, and you know, where you're calling from, and any other fun fact you might find is interesting, and maybe even discuss if are you a whale or are you a dolphin or you're free to play like our friend KG.
So I was like a week 1 player. I wasn't day 1, but I started on like, I want to say the 4th day after the game came out. At first, I was just a like not free to play, but like gold pass only player, never spent any money. And then the ICE tour happened and I became a full whale, like just like full whale for like over a year. And then recently, earlier this year, I had to like scale back the spending, but I still do spend. So I went from gold pass to, you know, like whale, like full on whale, bought every single pack, bought rubies without packs, you know, that type of thing. So now just being like a dolphin, I'll buy packs here and there. So that's what my journey is. I made top 10 a few times. I had 3 in a row at one point.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there any future tour where you'd like to go for top 10 again, or do you feel like you've already checked off that box and nothing left to prove?
I definitely want to go for it again. I did try recently. I forget which one it was, but whenever there's a tour with a character that I really like is the badge, that's what I try to go for. So that if there's like a tour with Wiggler as the badge, if Wiggler ever comes out, that would be pretty sick. Bowser, Wario, Waluigi. I like villains. That's my thing.
Love it, man. Well, cool. I'll be honest with you. That if a Wiggler tour happens, it's going to be a competitive one. I know it's it's a favorite for a lot of people. Well, cool. Yeah, if you need to pop off video while you're driving, that's totally appropriate too. But thanks for joining us, man. We're excited to get into it. We got a lot to discuss because we just saw this morning the reveal for the anniversary, not the 3-year anniversary or anything like that, just the anniversary, which it seems like that's kind of potentially how they'll do it going forward. It sounds like there'll be many anniversaries to go forward. But the icebreaker is, because we're right here in the middle of the Versus Tour, what team did you pick, Mario or Luigi, and why? And then do you actually think your team's going to win or lose? I know if you picked my team, you're probably a little bit more skeptical of the win, but we'll start in reverse order. Groovy, what team are you on, man?
Dude, is that a question? Is that rhetorical? I'm trying to figure this out right now. You know what I mean? I want to shout to Ronnie Cash because it's Team Luigi all day. You know what I mean?
Team Luigi.
It's been like that since day 1 for me, Brody. So I'm sinking with the ship, sailing with the ship, but we're sailing. I know we're sailing for sure. I got the plan in motion, so don't worry about it.
All right. Anyone else on Team Luigi? Raise your hand. Team Luigi. Wow. That's everybody here is on Team Luigi. Kronos, what about you, man? You Team Luigi? You might be on mute, but
sorry, I'm on Team Luigi as well.
wow, all 6 of us. Wow. Okay,
Wow.
so does anyone think that we'll win? Does anyone think we have a chance?
And we absolutely have a chance, dude.
What's the plan, guys? How do we win this? What,
I mean,
Well,
we gotta unite.
We gotta discuss this in private though, because after we start listening to this through this whole podcast type thing, they're gonna start, working against those type things. It's gonna be like a whole reverse effect type thing. We don't want to be exposing our blueprints. You know what I mean, Brody?
Smart.
I mean, I have some Peach versus Bowser vibe there, because every single day, if you look it up, Luigi is gaining.
A little bit closer.
Yeah, and on the last day, what's gonna happen? Like Team Luigi is gonna win. I have the same feeling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Tables are going to turn on Tuesday. Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that if we get too close, if Luigi gets too close before that last day, that's the problem. I think we have to hit it on that last day, and then everybody just go ham last day really hard, and we'll jump up and everybody will be mad. A lot of people will be mad in the
How
general
epic would that be?
in the general world, So
Yeah.
If we were like getting crushed the entire time, and then all of a sudden we went full sleeper mode,
come back,
and
kid,
then
man.
just went ham on them, I think that would be pretty epic. Yeah, for sure. Well, let me ask you about this, guys. Have you enjoyed this versus tour more or less, or the same as past versus tour, and why?
It's about the same for me. I mean, since I'm a free-to-play player, my outlook on things is a bit different. Just seeing the token shop have those high-end tickets and the high-end items, extra coins, it's so good for the account. And I really don't mind, what the ranked mode looks like, what the track selection looks like, just having that consistent experience and the equity being injected into the account. That's good enough for me.
I agree with Kevin. I mean, I like to see like all the good shop, all the good special pipe into rally tour. I mean, this tour, I mean, I'm very surprised about Luigi Raceway. I really like this track in Ghost Valley. Like there's wide track, interesting track, even they're like a little bit not fun to drive, but overall those stunning track are very well done in overall, and I like to driving into those. So I think that's a very good point for this tour, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I really like the track selection this tour. Like, I like the mix. I feel like there's a little bit of a better mix of some old, I guess with the Ghost Valley, it is kind of new, but it is new, but kind of the Ghost Valleys, we've experienced those before. But I'm a Nintendo 64 guy, and so I just really do enjoy racing on Luigi Raceway. It's been fun. And so yeah, I mean, I feel like I've moved away from the whole competitive thing with the versus tour. I don't think it's really that big anymore, really, to me. But I just echo KG's thing, is like, love the extra resources. I mean, I'll take those every tour. So,
and the other thing too that no one's mentioned yet is now that we have the token shop pipes, it's so easy to clear that thing out now.
yes.
Yeah.
Which that's the main reason why I went Team Luigi. That was my reason. Is I really went Team Luigi because I wanted to clear out that token pipe. And so I knew my heavier hitters were on Luigi, that I was going to get a lot more coins on the track. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So did you already clear it then, Firestorm?
I did. I cleared it today, actually, the last
Nice.
final pulls. So
Nice.
It took me like, I think like the day after the first of the tour I was done, and I keep grinding like Pyramid Plan Slide T over and over for many hours. But I mean, that was fun. I mean, it's my best loadout with my Team Luigi, so gotta go with my Volendam. But
yeah,
That's awesome, man. So I know you mentioned a little bit about the track. I'll be honest with you, with this brand new Luigi Speedway track, I did not like it at first. It seemed very, very boring, but I've actually I've started to enjoy it. It ends up being a lot more fun than I thought it would be to start. I am curious though, with 4 new tracks or 4 new sets of tracks released this tour and then last tour, the good news of that would be that you have 12 new tracks to grind EXP on. Obviously, the bad news is that you have 12 new loadouts to cover. And we've had some discussions here in a couple of our servers about our feelings with all these brand new tracks. Do you see this trend as more of a positive or a negative? Do you think this will continue? What's your thoughts on having 2 new tracks a tour?
I don't see it as a negative, essentially. You know what I mean? I see it more as a positive, because I think there's some tours, like, for example, I hear certain people in the community complaining, saying that, oh, how come, like, for example, the ice cream tour, like, how come we got, like, you know, the same recycled tracks from, like, the previous tour beforehand type thing, right? So I think introducing these new tracks or whatever, and giving them the debut that they do, like, in each tour, so on and so forth, would kind of generally, I guess, like, you know, in the future maybe produce like one of those, like, you know, filler tours where then they can start, like, you know, twisting and turning and throwing in, like, you know, one singular track for each, and, like, you know, every cup, and after, you never essentially would get bored of, like, you know, like playing, like, you know, the same exact track, maybe for this, like, you know, the same 2 tracks for, like, you know, every every like 4th or 5th cup type thing, if you know what I'm talking about, right? So I don't know, that's my opinion. I guess that's what I take from it, essentially, and maybe I'm misconstruing it in a way, but that's my thing. That's my take on it, really.
Yeah, I mean, the new tracks do take away the old recycled tracks being, you know, on there. I could see that. What do you guys think, though?
I mean, for me, like, since I play like another different meta games than everybody else, of course, for me, every time I see a new track, it's kind of scary, because I don't know if I have really top shelf or I don't. So far, like, all the track new we got, I still have managed to still have top shelf, which I'm very impressed by that. I mean, of course, I have a couple of track where I don't have it. Maybe like a hard time, like Ghost Valley 2R, which is a really not fun for me, like with level 1 or 2. But at least I can appreciate those old driver like Fire Rosa, those King Boom, Luigi mentioned having a buff, and those unique like old driver getting a chance to have a buff. I think it's really interesting for those to see a buff and a reviving cycles in a way, like Red Crawley card. That card was super not there. Now 2 tours in a row, it's actually there. It's really, for me, it's really fun to play with. But yeah, I don't think that's really negative. Of course, it can be like overwhelming because there's too much track to cover and people want to do well on every single tracks. But eventually, like with times, with new items, I'm pretty sure those tracks will return. You get probably have a good item to cover you there, and just a wait and see, I guess. So, I mean, I think I just embrace the new tracks and have fun. I mean, if you don't have a battle, that'll happen, but at least we enjoy new track.
Do you think this will continue? Do you think that we'll keep getting 2 new tracks?
I think so, yeah. I mean, even like probably next year we can have a new Sydney, probably a new Amsterdam, or a new, like, I don't know. There's so many we can get more, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that would continue for a long time.
I think just with like the DLC, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC that they're kicking out. I mean, there's so many. I think that 48 tracks, I think, is that right? 48, I think is what they're going to come out with. Like, I would venture to say that all of those will make tour, probably. And so it's like, I think that if you do the numbers on that, I mean, that's a solid at least 2 years, probably, like, of just like constantly at least a new track each tour, like, at least. And so I think they're going to be, I think it's going to be coming up a lot. It's definitely scary. I mean, to a certain point for me, I mean, as a, like, Draco brought up Ghost Valley R, it's like I think that ever since level 8, I mean, since the shop and all that stuff, so it'll be interesting how the shop changes now, but just getting tickets has been a lot harder for me. And I'm not, I mean, I have a free to play, but KG has a much better grasp on this too. With free to play, I can't even imagine just this idea of really being super cautious and careful with your tickets and like ultra strategic. But I do feel like I've had to be way more strategic since level 8 with my tickets, and really I rethink, and like I think I overthink sometimes, even investments sometimes, because of I'm like nervous a new track's going to pop up and I'm not going to be able to level something up, and I'm not going to be able to make the rank or make ACR. So yeah.
What do you think, Kevin?
Well, I think there's some positives and some negatives to it. The positives have already been described here. The negative is, there's only so much content that exists for Mario Kart. And, you know, if they're shoveling that on us right now, what's going to become of the game in 2 years from now? And I think a lot of us are invested into this, whether financially, or at least emotionally on my end as a free-to-play player. You know, what's going to exist for Mario Kart in 2 years? You know, are they just going to move on to the next console game? Right now, it seems like the lifespan of Mario Kart Tour is linked with the DLC. And then once the DLC has run its course at the end of 2023, what becomes of Mario Kart Tour? It will likely depend on what the economy looks like, what the revenue generation is, and if they can push that forward into making new Nitro courses, new RMX courses, and then just filtering in the remaining RT courses.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have cities that they could take us to, but you're right though. There's only so many retro tracks that they have. So by making, you know, remixes and 2s and 3s and stuff of these older tracks, I mean, it's one way to add more tracks without actually having to create new tracks, like, you know, brand new themed tracks. But yeah, I don't know. I'm less worried about like how long this game will be around, and like I'm not worried. Like they can always make more stuff, make more tracks. They could go to cities all the time if they wanted to and keep making new tracks. But I don't. So I'm less worried about that. What I'm worried about is, you know, they just, you know, throw a ramp in here and throw a glider and just call it a new track. And then I have to worry about the loadouts and I have to worry about my coverage and the sheets. And I'm like, geez, like this is making things a lot more cumbersome, having to, you know, because we'll be at like 500 tracks, you know, in just a couple months or something like that. And you're like, wow, now my coverage just makes things a lot more difficult. But I don't know. That's a thought that I have, and I wonder like what the future is there. I personally, I don't know how I feel about just, you know, the minor detail changes that they're making with these tracks and then calling it a brand new track. To me, like it's actually, I don't know, I lose a little bit of motivation from just grinding those types of tracks versus, you know, if I could jump on Mushroom Gorge and I could jump on, you know, some of these tracks again, like I get rejuvenated. I get so excited. But I jump on, you know, a Ghost Valley and I'm just like, I don't know. Did you guys feel that way at all or not?
Yep, I was literally saying that to myself today, actually, man. I did Ghost Valley 2T for ranked in. It was just a total, it was a heartbreaker, man. Like it was such a beautiful run. Like everything came together. I was like, this is nice. I'm loving it. Like, you know, it was almost like, it was like sunshine and rainbows for a bit. And after, you know, got the last box, had a box, dropped down from the glide, popped it. I was like, this is awesome. No one's going to ruin this day. You know what I mean? After, you know, swimwear Rosalina's just like, what's going on, baby? And I could just prop it. I said, yo, no way. I said, no way. I screamed. I was like, no way. And I was on VC. I said, no, I'm done. I said, I'm going to log off right now. I'm going to get something to eat. And that's it. I'm like, I'm done. I said, this is terrible. A 40K run turned to a 38K run. Like literally it's.
Well, actually, Big Brolo asked a similar question. He said, you know, Mariokarted is a term we use to describe when the game decides to completely wreck our perfect runs at the worst absolute time, such as a blue shell inches in front of that finish line, only to come in fourth. However, we've also seen some really off-the-wall examples of being Mario Karted. What's the worst Mario Karted runs that's ever happened to you? Is that your worst one, Groovy?
My worst, yeah. Right now, this would be my worst one because that was actually a pretty decent run for me. So that really just crunched my jewels, man. I was like, nah, that's not cool. It stinks. And it was a really nut cruncher, man. But I don't really like the new Ghost Valley track, to be honest with you, man. Like for MP or grinding, it's there's no, for me personally, there's no benefit, but just no interest. There's no love to it. For me, it's you're grinding it, yeah, but after like the bots are like, you know, super aggressive, whether they're badgeless or whether they're badged, you know, well, badged regardless, but you know what I mean. It's just the whole grinding aspect of it is just not fun to me, especially with Lucky 7. It was just atrocious. You know what I mean? Like it's no fun, just no fun. Just put it that way.
For me, I don't know why I like it. I think it's more into the nostalgia of me. I play a lot of Super Nintendo back in the days, and seeing this track revival I think this is more the exciting part for me about those old track to come back and I finally play them. Like when I see like Raceway, I mean, if it's like very boring, well, I see the design of it and the effort they put into it, and it's like, oh wow, this track is way more cooler than it looked like. Of course, like Ghost Valley, it's not like compared to Luigi Raceway. It's a like flat track and you don't have much action. But honestly, the T version is better than the other two. I really like the cool ramps and all the action you can get. That was way more fun, obviously, than the other one. But I mean, just the nostalgia to play those two old tracks.
You're right, definitely.
But I get what you mean. But for me, it's more about nostalgia moment. And when I was a little Draco who played those beautiful old track. But I mean, I know like some players don't have the same experience than I do and play like all the generation of Mario Karts. And they just play the new track and it's like, oh wow, okay, this is simple or this is less simple. But I mean, overall, I think with the items, I mean, doing a coin box into those Ghost Valley, like it's the best deal you can have, or even Boomerang. Those are super fun actually. It's way more easy, like one boom box and you're out. Like that's it. But well, of course, like I would like to Bowser 3 have a other background, like Larry mentioned, one in the other background. But that track is actually way more fun than I expected to be at the start, because you can get like 200 action and more. But
yeah, I'll be honest with you, the Ghost Valley rank track last week was probably my least favorite track that I've played this year. For whatever reason, like I left 9,000 gain there. I think it's just because of the Ghost Valley, like the coins move around, so you can't actually really establish lines. I'm using, Peach Happy, and I love Lucky 7. Like it's actually one of my favorite skills. But like it was just not fun. People would take my coins in front of me. I'm trying to get like a Lucky 7 and something else, and like I don't know. For whatever reason I didn't like it. But you're right. I love the T. The T is fun. That's fun, just such a blast. Trying to see what we can get. But going back to the question just posed here about being Mario Karted, were there some memorable moments where you got Mario Karted and the game decided to give you that less than ideal run?
I think it was just today actually. I played the Z Cruiser R. And I was having a nice, beautiful coin box. I was like, oh yes, coin box frenzy, let's go. Going to the gliding section, and I think I hit something, and I got like out of bounds somewhere, and I just go in the back, and then I got hit again. I'm like, well, that's another good fun race. But I mean, there's a video situation where I got a good, nice, like only 1 or 2 frenzy, and I got like out of bounds or somewhere like that, and like, well, yeah, that's my
I think for me, the worst is when you Mario Kart yourself.
Oh,
I have a specific memory of this because back then it was a high score for me. I remember, I mean, this was so long ago, on a Koopa Troopa beach with Gold Koopa free running. I had a triple coin box frenzy run, and it was like amazing. And I'm like, this is going to be huge. It's going to be an account high. I was so pumped. I'm coming around the corner, and I'm coming around that last corner around the edge, and I hit the last box, and it gave me like a coin, a shell, and a banana. And I like fired the shell behind me. And then I'm like coming around the corner. You know how sometimes the game, I swear there's like a ghost in the game, like just mid-turn, my banana flies forward. Like a sense that I threw the banana, and the banana bounced off the finish sign and hit me right at the edge, and I spun out, and I got like 4th place.
Oh,
and it was still almost an account record in 4th place because I had so many. I think it was like a 230 something action run.
Wow.
It was like really high. It was crazy. And those are the times when I'm like, it is lucky that my phone survived that day. I mean, that is what I felt like. So that's my one memory that popped up. So
snipe yourself,
snipe myself.
Well, welcome back, Kronos. What about you, man?
My worst Mario Karted memory. It's happened so many times I don't really I just tend to blot it out of my memory. But yes, that exact scenario with throwing the banana, hitting the finish line, bouncing off and hitting you. I've done that like 3 or 4 times. It's just, that's the worst. Yeah, doing it to yourself. Yeah. I don't really remember any specific ones where I was like, had like an amazing run. Just like, usually it happens when I'm doing, I would say grinding XP. Like I really grind XP a lot. That's like the number one activity for me. Like I have a level 274 right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Mm.
dude. Congratulations, man.
Seriously, that's an accomplishment.
That takes some serious effort. Yeah, well, I mean, are there even general track? This is for everybody, but are there general tracks? Like I just remember that super long Rainbow Road, the one that's the 3DS one that Carlos keeps going back for the world record of, and I think Crazy might have the world record now or something like that.
Yeah.
That track, I don't know why. Maybe I think it's because like when your lead becomes too much, the game decides that they're gonna crush you.
Dude, rubber banding, man, it's real.
It is an absolute. So I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten a blue shell, gotten a lightning or whatever on that track, and then ended up just losing it. So thankfully it's a free track where they give you got plenty of actions to get over 200. But yeah, that's the one that for me, whatever reason, no matter how many times I play it, I always get Mario Karted just pretty consistently there. What about you, KG? Groovy?
Oh, the one that sticks out in my memory was for ranked mode. Probably last year sometime, Mario Circuit T 3DS version. I was using Mario, just the Super Mario. I had a mushroom and double coin frenzy run. This was after like 3 hours of grinding for that. And I got red shelled as soon as the last coin frenzy ended, like the first frame.
Right after.
Oh,
I saved the item ticket for this moment, and it was a green shell and a banana, and I couldn't catch up. It's like, really? This is what you do to me?
Oh,
So I had to grind like 4 or 5 more hours, and it was 10 minutes before ranked ended. I ended up with a blooper and double coin frenzy, 200 actions on that. So it was really that was a real sweat though, because it took so many hours and right before ranked ended.
Well,
Those moments where they hit you with those right after a frenzy is not fair. It's like it's computer like designed to hit you the millisecond your frenzy ends.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And also sometimes I try to back spam like a green shell to hit like a red shell. It never touched a red shell, and then you get hit by suddenly somewhere.
Exactly. Like what angle is that coming in from? It's like doing like a huge hook on you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Or I have some moment where I think I was turning to a side. I have a defensive items. I got hit by something somewhere.
Seriously, I want instant replay just for that, because there's times where I get hit and I'm like, what hit me? Like what actually hit me?
Yeah, seriously, that
Yeah,
needs
those
to be implemented
are
into the
rough.
game, because I want to see half the time what my stupidity has done to cause me my pain sometimes. Because I'll see a green shell fire it backwards, I'll be like, yeah, baby. I'm like, but no, baby. I'm like, what you doing?
Man.
Well, what's weird, right, is like they say it has to do with like artificial intelligence and machine learning, like it's learning our moves and stuff, but we don't interact with people with frenzies. So how are the bots just absolutely nailing us as soon as our frenzies are done? Because none of us are doing that. Like we have no. I mean, maybe unless someone's using a middle shelf, I think they.
Well, supposedly it's like through multiplayer, right? So that's what I heard.
But the thing is, in multiplayer,
yeah, but we don't know when it's going to end. Because we never saw when their frenzy started. We can't time that.
Right.
It always seems like super, like they know exactly when your frenzy ends, and then they'll lightning immediately, or the blue shell. Oh, you're in the middle of frenzy, it's just hovering over frenzy end. Like,
yeah, I hate that. It's like, why couldn't you last a bit longer? It's like you're evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, while we're wrapping up the Mario versus Luigi discussion, Big Brolo asked something he pointed out. I didn't realize this. I'm glad he did. He said the last versus tour, the Bowser versus Peach tour, by the end of day 9, that tour was at 2.65 million tokens collected. Comparatively, players have collected right now 2.02 million tokens. So that's about 31% lower than it would at the same point last time that we had one of these versus tours. So one could assume though that would equate to a 31% loss in player base, or I had no idea, but that's a swing of over. Maybe either people are playing less or there's less people playing. I don't know what to say. What are your thoughts on drastic changes? Do you think the game has seen a blow? I mean, this is the only data that we have to work off of in the game.
Well, There is more data though.
Okay.
There's a website called Sensor Tower, which I don't know their methodology for how they gain access to the revenue that these mobile games make. So there's probably some flawed methods to how they acquire that. But what's interesting about this is that the decrease that we see 31% lower is approximately the same decrease in revenue that Sensor Tower has reported since the last rally tour till the current month. It's about 1/3 of a dip off.
Wow. I had no idea.
Oh,
Interesting.
That is, so I guess that answers our question.
Yeah, damn.
I mean, my other thought about this is maybe the track selection as well. I mean, this one we have Ridge Raceway and Ghost Valley. Maybe some people do not like those track or grinding on those track. And the last time we had Pete vs Bowser that was introducing Koopa Cave. Maybe that was more hype tracks. So maybe some player did like it more or play more during that time than probably here. I mean, we don't know. I mean,
When was the last verse tour? Does anybody know?
Peach versus
Remember?
Bowser, like it was
Peach.
into the after Coconut Mall.
Okay.
But that was when the Dr.
July,
Mario
yeah.
or Dr. Bowser and Dr. Peach came out.
Yeah.
Like July, August, maybe.
I mean, there
No,
could be
that's
drop
alright.
off. My thought when I saw the question just was that, I mean, at least in most places around the world, not all, but most places, I just thought, oh, a lot of younger kids play this game and school started. So it's like kids are just playing less.
Yeah.
That was my initial thought, is like, I mean, I know a lot of players that are playing less right now just because life is crazy. I mean, school started up, parents
Football
have kids,
started
I mean,
up.
sports started up, like just less. So that probably is, I mean, I would say that probably leads part of it, but I mean, I would not be
But KG
surprised if
makes a
there's
good
been a
point about
player
the
drop
revenue.
off for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised with some of the different. Well, I don't know. I feel like it's weird that it would be losing players when the game has consistently been kicking out content. So why are they losing players? You know, is it because of the gotcha elements and now a lot of those players are going to come back like when that leaves? So I don't know. It's interesting.
Groovy Kronos, what do you guys think?
Well, I think it could have to do with like, well, if we're losing revenue now, it also makes sense with the prices going up with everything pretty much around the world that people can't afford as much. I mean, that's basically why I had to stop being a full-time whale, because prices of everything is just going up and up and up, and I couldn't afford it. So it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of people, once they just stop being a whale, stop spending money on the game, just don't feel, motivated to play it anymore.
I mean, we have seen like dips in shopping and just, Amazon's numbers are down right now. Stimulus checks are well gone. I do think that people are just a little bit more conservative with their funds. I do think that has something to do with it. I know for myself, I've already made adjustments in how I'm spending and also playing the game. My special hacker genius moment was realizing that the only way I can save tickets is just if I don't play the game as much, because I'm so impulsive. I'm like, if I don't touch the game, if I don't play the game, then I'm not going to spend my tickets. Otherwise, if I play the game, I'm going to just use tickets. Like that's what I've just realized, just based on how I play. So I've been playing less. I know I haven't even grinded out my token shop yet.
I was going to say, StudFit, I mean, you said you were going to stop whaling and then revenue dipped. So,
it's all me.
Like,
this is all thanks to
what are you doing to us, man?
But also,
apparently I was holding up 31% of the revenue.
That's like,
I think
Hey,
also
Kronos?
oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kronos.
Do you guys ever think there will get to a point in the game when like all of the courses will be available at the same exact time? You can just pick which course you want to play, and then get rid of the tour thing with like only 12 cups, and you ever think that will happen?
The size of the download that would have to go onto your phone for all of that data, like
That would
StudFit
be so
referenced
huge.
earlier, we're coming up on 500 courses now. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not going
That
to
is
be much
crazy.
time until that's the case.
it'd be cool if they introduced, though. I mean, I know there's been talk on different channels over the years, but I mean, it'd be really cool if they introduced a time trial mode that had like maybe a bigger selection of courses, not all courses, but maybe different courses that allowed people to, I mean, I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. That just gives people, because it's like, you hit a point where you're like, I want to play Shy Guy Bazaar, but I can't.
Mhm.
And so it's like, and I haven't seen it in forever. And so, I mean, it'd be cool for them to introduce like a legacy mode or something that's like, oh yeah, I can go back and play some older courses, you know, just for the sake of playing, because I
Maybe
know
having a
that a lot of us
leaderboard.
enjoy it.
A leaderboard
Yeah.
could be fun with time trials, but also maybe
sure.
with the Peach versus Bowser Tour again. Like maybe the pack was not great. I know this tour the pack are terrible, except probably one pack.
Yeah.
Compared maybe to the Peach versus Bowser Tour, those packs will maybe better. So maybe they spend more into that time. I don't know, just when we just see it. But I mean, who won those capsule? I mean, I do want them, but not those ones.
I mean, I will say some of the things that we've been seeing lately have been, I don't know, so end of times-esque, you know, like it just from kind of here in the community, it does seem like, you know, we weren't expecting to see this, you know, gold standard anytime soon. We knew this was like, we were starting to see some of the cards that we knew that they were holding close to their heart, and them playing it. Things like, we have not seen a non-top skill except for like 2 drivers in the last like 6 months. Everyone's been a top skill. So it makes us wonder, like, why are they doing that? Why are they doing the Miis? Why are they coming out with battle mode? Why, you know, I think that they're one of the reasons, hypothetically, that they could be saying, you know, we're going to get rid of the gacha and open up into those countries that have kicked us out, or go into new, you know, countries that we haven't even gone in yet. Maybe they're thinking, hey, you know, revenue's dipping here, but maybe we can expose ourselves to new players and try to, you know, bring in more players around the world, because it is a Nintendo brand, and like that will always, you know, pick up steam once it's released. So I think they're just saying, hey, you know, we've been basically crushing this, you know, maybe smaller community, or, you know, a certain number of players. You know, we've kind of burnt them out. Let's go to new players. And like that might be their way of trying to do that. And then that's why they're also doing the battle mode. Is like, hey, we'll attract new players. We'll get people bringing into the game. I do wonder if what KG's saying about the revenue being down 31%, if that's causing them to get a little, not desperate, but causing them to find, how do we get new players? How do we get new players? How do we get new players? Top skills are going to do it. You know, brand new tracks are going to do it. A battle mode's going to do it. Going to new countries is going to do it. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, like we've been playing this game for a long time, coming on, you know, year 4, and we're, I don't know. I think the same players are I don't know, looking for something more. And so I think Nintendo has to do that, or it's going to continue to dip. So I'm not saying this is their Hail Mary or that they're desperate, but I do sense some, you know, some very strategic long-term moves.
Desperate is a word that a lot of people have been using. So whether or not, you know, any of us agree with it, that's what the people out there are saying, you know. And what's happened is that with all these plus skills being brought in, tour in and tour out, it's really desensitizing people. Yeah. And then, you know, your resources are, you know, very restricted, and you have to start to make decisions. Okay, I'm not going to go in for this one necessarily. And then let me start to rely more on the analytics to see which one fits my account the best. And then suddenly all these things that used to be pillars and foundations of their revenue, people are skipping out on this one or that one because it's just not suitable for their account. I really think Nintendo has done themselves a disservice with this game, because the structure of play has basically been the same since the beginning, right? Like you have your ranked mode, you have your all cup ranking, which feed into a similar system in terms of how you want to build your inventory. Yeah. Obviously, the things that are good for ranked mode aren't necessarily the same things that are good for all cup ranking. And, you know, that's what separates the gradient of players from those who are free to play. For example, in the free to play community, we've had players like Alpha and Bolt who have made top 50 runs in the all cup ranking, but they're not top tier in terms of ranked mode. We have different players who are top tier, tier 75 for J-Man, tier 75 for Antenian. Those players can't even dream of being in the top 50 in all cup ranking because it requires a different set of investments. And that's what goes on when you are a gold pass player. And when you do purchase packs, you can make the decisions then on how to allocate your resources to do both, you know, ideally. But when they introduced multiplayer into the game, that didn't create a new market. I mean, multiplayer is pretty much dead outside of what the fans construct around it. But the metagame there is pretty simple. I mean, you know, you just need a heart driver, right?
Sure.
And they don't introduce those ever. There's no incentive to play that outside of the Kart Pro, which is just a couple of rubies every few months. No big deal.
Yep.
So now are they going to make the same mistake with battle mode? They could make a whole new market and redesign, what these courses and what's valuable on these courses. I saw this was a question in the itinerary here.
Yeah.
So, you could repurpose some of these old drivers, such as Pauline, right? Who wants to invest into Pauline? Well, maybe some players did when the shops were expanded for level 8 and they thought they could get high-end tickets, right? But since we see how the shops are operating, no one wants to do that now. But what if you were incentivized to invest into some of these older, irrelevant characters, and then you're put to a decision because Nintendo will incentivize that mode of play and give a reward that's worth, investing your resources for that? That's a way to both excite the players, but also to extract more revenue and interest from all the players too.
No, it's a solid proposition. What I'm curious is, we talk about coins being potentially a rough resource. What if like the only way we get coins is from doing this battle mode or whatever, and like basically forcing us, if we want to get high end tickets, which that's kind of our gold standard of what we see value in, because that helps us do ranked, or that helps us go. But like I don't know. Part of me thinks that like we'll see something similar to this token pipe where it's almost infinite. Like we can keep playing that battle mode or some other mode to keep getting resources up to a certain point. Kind of like these token shops. But like you have to keep playing something that we don't want to play. And I wonder if that'll backfire too, because then we'll just get burnt out doing that too. I mean, it's quite a game that they've built. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Is battle mode going to fix things, or do you think it's going to, or are we burnt out, or how? Like, what do you proposition? What's your thoughts on the future of the game from that perspective?
I feel like maybe it would probably generate like a different audience, you know what I mean? People that are probably like, kind of tired of just doing the whole, like Kevin said, the whole, simple-minded, hey, let's just like go around the track, heart characters, woohoo, red shell after you pass the box, and then, score first place type thing, right? And then, people will start gravitating towards a battle mode because yes, it's something completely new and new, shiny. That's how pretty much that's how you draw attention to the audience or whatever. So they're going to do that for a bit, and after what's going to happen afterwards, a few months down the road type thing, what next are they going to come up with that's going to draw the attention of the consumer or the audience? Like everyone right now, like really and honestly and truthfully have very short attention spans, you know what I mean? Like they get drawn to something very closely, like for a short time frame, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do for us now, Nintendo? What are you going to do to keep us drawn into your content type thing, right? So honestly, it's a hit or miss, man. You can't make anybody happy. You just gotta they're just gonna have to try it. They're gonna have to try throw something at us that's gonna have us glued to the game essentially, or they're gonna continue to have a dip in revenue essentially, and nothing's gonna come out of it in their favors. So yeah.
I mean,
I have a feeling.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just say I have a feeling that battle mode. I have a feeling. I hope I'm wrong. I have a feeling it's going to be fairly simple. I really do. I don't see them introducing a really robust system in as they should, like as KG is saying. I mean, I think there is potential. I think the only way that you do that though is by offering valuable resources in that mode. And so, I mean, yeah, I totally agree that they should have ranked battles. They just should. And it's like, if you want a battle, and you should go, and you can go do rubies and get 40 rubies for that week of winning out your ranked battles. Like, you're going to get guys to go play. Will everyone go play? Probably not. I mean, there'll be people that don't, but I guarantee you, if there was multiplayer ranked every week, that got you 40 rubies if you placed in first in a ranked group in multiplayer, you would see a lot more people playing multiplayer. I mean, so I just think that's how you draw players in. So it'll be just really interesting to see, because I don't even know if coins really does it. If they make it to where it's the only way to get coins, maybe. But I think if they offered rubies, significant rubies, not 5 rubies, but significant ranked reward rubies for a mode, you're going to draw players in, and you're going to get more, you're going to draw more new audience into that, because then you'll get a lot more people that are like, I don't really like racing, but I love battle mode, and I can gain rubies through battle mode and use it on battle characters. You know, maybe there's a tiered, maybe there's tiers in battle mode, and you get players that have 4 balloons instead of 3 balloons, and that's your advantage. And so, like, I could see them doing things like that if they wanted to. It's just the question is, do they want to put out the effort? So
I mean, that's a really good idea. I like the idea of, about
idea,
like
yeah.
another ranking, like a ranking for like 3 courses and a ranking for battle mode. That would be great. I mean, my thought was like, I know like what KG said, like multiplayer is all about right now, like getting Tour Pro or Kart Pro, and then like Clan Wars. I mean, a lot of people feel their like love for multiplayer by Clan Wars, which is like a competitive match for 4v4. And a lot of community love those aspects to be like a lot more competitive in multiplayer. But maybe like into battle mode, we introduce a new ways of, and a lot of people love battle mode at the base, but maybe like if we can introduce that also into competitive battle modes, into like Clan Wars, like we do already, maybe that would be another like new ways or new feature for us to be like entertain who people love like competitive. So I would be down to see like a battle mode competitive like Clan Wars. That would be great as well.
I mean, think about how long they've been developing battle mode for. I remember some of these assets were in the data mining as early as April 2021. So this is a good year and a half ago that this has been known to us, at least, probably even longer on their end. They have to find out a way to make this profitable, not just a service for fans, just to make it fun, right? I mean, they have to make money from this.
Yeah.
It's bring up a great point. Yeah, Firestorm, we kind of talking about it. It's like, do they want players to play more, or do they want them to spend more? Like, which they kind of have to pick, and so that's why I think that rubies are still gonna be most easily acquired through purchasing. But I think, Kevin, you're 100% right. It's like they have been building this up so much. I don't think they can come in simple. I think they have to come in like with clans, maybe even like messaging. Like they do have to have something built in that's very dynamic. And you know, I do sense, you know, based on it, what seems, you know, maybe the word desperate is the right word, but you know, they're up, their backs are against the wall, and they have to give us something very dynamic. Maybe it's ranked, maybe it's not ranked. Maybe they give us more resources or not, but it has to be dynamic. It has to be I think what draws us to the game, tell me if I'm wrong. What draws me to this game is like every week there's a competition, and every 2 weeks it's a brand new game, new tracks, and there is this ranked mode. And if they can encapsulate that piece of it and release battle mode like that, then I think we'll continue playing. But if they release battle mode like they do multiplayer, unfortunately, it's just gonna fizzle out, just like multiplayer did. You tell me if I'm wrong though. What do you think?
That actually sounds really interesting because, well, before I was into Mario Kart, my mobile game was Madden Mobile, and I don't know if any.
Oh yeah, like Tabor.
Tabor
was really into that too.
Oh really?
Wait, I think he said every season started over, like brand new or something.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, but it reminds me of the leagues mode where there was like, you joined a league and then your league that you were in would go up against. So if they did battle mode where like you had a clan and you went up against another person, you're matched up with another clan, and you got to like, you know, whatever. There was like a messaging system within that where you communicated with people in your clan and whatever. I actually got really good at that game too. And then I just stopped, and then I picked up this one instead. But that actually sounds like it would be really fun because it's a lot more engaging to the game if they decided to go that route.
Yeah, I mentioned this before. I still kind of play this Looney Tunes game. It's a Looney Tunes World of Mayhem, and it sounds super dumb, and it really is. But it's like an RPG, and like you have there's a lot of different things. And what's unique is like how crazy parallel it is with Mario Kart Tour. Like there is there's like a knight character, a king. There's King Bugs Bunny. There's, you know, a ninja. You know, there's like all these alts that are in Mario Kart Tour are literally in that game too. And it's interesting they came out with these alliance wars, which are just basically the same thing. But like it's only like every other weekend, and there is a message board and there's an alliance, and you check into the alliance and you go up against, you know, 2 other alliances. And so like if they did something like that, dude, like that, I think that would get us really vibed up. But if they're gonna give us, you know, we got to get Kart Pro version of battle mode, I don't think they're gonna keep us captivated.
If we're looking at the realm of mobile games, you know, one of the kings in that space is Pokemon Go. And Pokemon Go has continued to make money year over year. Their revenue keeps increasing. So everybody says, oh, well, it was
Crazy.
a viral game. Pokemon Go has not been viral since 2016. And they're making more money now than they were then because they're smart. They use this, you know? And what they did is they introduced raids. Pokemon Go didn't start off with raids initially. That was a huge source of revenue. Then when that started to dip, they introduced player versus player battles. And now they have the Go Battle League, which is a whole infrastructure they developed and incentivize people to play. You get exclusive Pokemon, exclusive items through that. And everybody has to go into that if they want those items, and they're very lucrative. So of course they need to.
No, I think Pokemon Go is a great example because they added different modes and they added different ways. But what I like about each one of those modes is it's always community based. It's always with other people, right? So raids, you have to have 4 friends. What I like about it is they added now remote raids, and so you can invite your friends to join. So now you're like, it makes those bonds even tighter because like you don't have to get in your car and drive there, but like you can actually be with me hypothetically. So like I do think that Mario Kart Tour hasn't necessarily tapped into the community aspect as much as they could compared to other games, and that community piece is what keeps people sticking with stuff. And now us in Discords and YouTubes and stuff, we find, you know, we're staying connected. But if you think about it, like if you weren't on Discord and you just were, you know, playing by yourself, there's no part of the game that's going to keep you tied to it. Even like giving out coins and stuff like I don't know. That's just, there's no community inside of the game.
Yeah, or maybe with battle mode, this is now the game would thrive and going higher now, like Pokemon Go did, and finding maybe like nice reward to the battle modes to force people to get those extra items. That could be like, I would like to see that as well. I mean,
we've kind of talked about it. I think a good way to do it would be offer a brand new resource, you know, and you know, maybe it's you know how like when we saw cap tickets come in, it was brand new to us. We were like, what is going on here? And it was, you know, it changed the game. It has to be something like at that level where like it is very unique to this and it changes everything. You know, maybe it's like I don't know, maybe it turns a regular driver's cap tickets, you know, in parallel with the Mii's or something like that, or it has to be something very unique like that, or else I just think, you know, maybe even like you mentioned Firestorm, if it's just coins, maybe, but like it has to like, and that's the only way you get coins. It has to be like so pivotal that we can't just ignore it.
Yeah.
I will say that this is a very important juncture for them the next 2 months, because they sent out an email to all of the Nintendo accounts tied to this game. So they're trying to reach the people who have stopped playing from 2019 through now.
For sure.
And they're basically advertising that something big is going to happen. So I think it's optimistic, the kinds of things that we may see. I think it's only going to be a small part of the stuff we've talked about here, though. I think that they have their own ideas. I don't know if they're going to tap into that community element. That's so cool. I really wish they would, because honestly, the whole fun of this entire program and interacting with all of you is the community. But I think that's something that falls short on their awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably right. Anyone want to mention anything else before I move to Crazy's question? All right. Well, Crazy asks, Nintendo has so far mentioned we would have the balloon battles in the upcoming battle mode update. Will they add other fan favorite modes like coin runners, Bob-omb Blast, Shine Thief? Maybe we can see these modes added as part of future updates. Or will these extra modes just not really fit the Mario Kart Tour game?
I don't personally see it fitting in, essentially. I guess depending on like the audience you're trying to cater to, essentially, but I don't really see it fitting in. I feel like it'd just be like way too many. Like I think it would just be megabytes, like, you know what I mean? Just like, wasted at that point, essentially, you know what I mean? You'd just be taking up space inside your phone, especially if you're not going to be playing it at all whatsoever, you know what I mean? Like, or if that's probably what's going to be, like, maybe that might be the concept as well, too, to like even collecting coins, you know what I mean? If you really think about it, like, who even knows? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be something that's implemented later on in the future, and I could be like, like biting my tongue and like, chewing my mouth off or shooting my mouth off pretty much. So I don't know, man. It's a hit or miss. You just gotta take it as it comes, or roll with the hits type thing, right? So
I think I can see that fitting into the game. It just depends on how much they're gonna do the base of the battle mode, because we don't have breaks. We don't, and like there's some mechanic they have to maybe adjust or make to battle mode worse, or how they're gonna play the map as well. And after that, after the foundation of this, maybe like if they introduce, like we mentioned, like rank mode, and they can just change the rank mode, like, so like, oh, this is Shine Thief in rank, oh, this is Battle Balloon in ranks this week, or something like that. That could be like very interesting to change like how they do stuff like that. But maybe that will fit. But I think like more likely we need to see how they structure this and then moving forward. But I know like a lot of Mario Kart generation have those type of battles, so that could fit, but we'll just have to see. Think.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, man. I think if you give people too many choices, they just end up walking away. But like if you make this being like a ranked all cup ranking, multiplayer and battle mode, you have 4 ways to play. I think that keeps you pretty busy. It doesn't burn you out. But yeah, I think if you gave them, all these other things, I mean, we've seen different like challenges come out, in that bottom right corner of every cup. We've seen some new stuff. You take a picture. We don't want to be doing that. We want to play the game, but we want to do it like and for me, I feel like I have to have when I play race anything, I need two reasons to be racing that. Like one, like either to get tokens and it's going to count towards my ranked, or to get exp and also base points, or like I have to be killing 2 birds with 1 stone, or else I feel like I don't know, not using my time appropriately. But yeah, I think if you get too much stuff going on and then you feel like you're just, why am I even playing this game? So I don't know if we'll see that. But anyone else want to add anything before we move on to the anniversary tour? Because I think what's on everyone's mind is, what skill will King Mario have? Will we have another must-pull coinboxer before Ruby pipe pulls go away?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Yeah, we're gonna have
Coinbox. Coinbox is king. You always say
Coinbox
it, right?
is king.
King Mario.
Like if I do a reaction video and he has Coinbox, I'm just gonna walk out.
And it looks like he's gonna be a special pipe too.
Yeah.
And it could be on spotlight.
And also he is on a gold pipe frame or something like that. I mean, maybe that could fit his cutter, which is maybe gold. So coin is gold.
I mean,
does anyone not think he's gonna be think he's gonna be some of the skill other than Coinbox?
I don't know if I can say that I don't know if I'll say that he is not Coinbox, but I mean, I just can't help but think some of these characters over the time, like when Samurai launched and we were like Coinbox, because like the coins on his helmet, and I mean, I could see, I just feel like it's been so long since a Lucky 7 skill.
I agree.
And I still think it kind of fits. It can fit his character a little bit. I mean, I'm hoping for Lucky 7. If they go Coinbox, I feel like it's so close to check. Like they've never done that before. It would be unprecedented.
It would be
for
the
them to do
6th
it.
one in 5 months.
Yeah.
It would be the 6th one in 5 months.
Yeah, literally.
That's too intense, man.
It would be 2 in like what?
So
1 tour between each one or whatever. It'd be ridiculous. I think Lucky 7. That's my guess.
So that would be my guess too. I think that everyone's gonna think Coinbox. I think they might come out with Lucky 7. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it now.
Yeah, but he's a king, man.
I get that, but still, man, it's just
I
like,
know.
damn, like I'm so tired that you're like, okay, it's gonna be, what abilities is it gonna be, and you wake up, you don't even bother to go and try to pull for it. You just like, click the freaking details,
Yeah.
you highlight the person, you see the ability, you're like, screw you, man. Like you're not what I expected. Like honestly, this is stupid. You know what I
Well,
mean?
all right. So let me paint a scenario for you guys, and you tell me if this would, how you would approach this. So, Kevin Garrett, we're talking about Pokemon Go, right? So you know how like if you get like this mega evolve, you can mega evolve this Pokemon for a certain period of time, and then it goes back to how it is, right?
Yep.
So what if King Mario was Coinbox, and then in battle mode they gave you this special ticket that allowed you to be able to change the skill for any driver, but only for like 12 hours.
Oh,
Wow.
See, I had that thought too about change the skill, but not on a time limit. That's really interesting.
Wow.
So like, yeah, it starts with Coinbox and that's its default, but now you can make anything Coinbox if you wanted. You can make the whole Mushroom Legacy all Coinbox.
Whoa, for 12 hours?
For 12 hours, but it's a limited ticket. You can only use it like once, and then you basically got to clear your schedule for 12
I
hours.
like that. And doing
What if
ACR with
it's
that? Oh my god.
What if it's like the roll of a dice? What if you get 12 hours to use an item, but you don't get to choose what item you get to you use,
Oh,
whatever
no.
it gives you an item, and
Oh
you
my
have to use
gosh,
that
yeah.
item for 12 hours. Imagine that. That would be something. I'd be like, what the France, man?
Or
I'd
it could
like,
be, or because you know how RNG, yeah, I'm falling down this RNG path. What if you roll it and it could be 5 hours, could be 12 hours, could be 24 hours.
yeah.
Imagine doing
that
this in
roll.
ranking and you try to roll like your level 8 Peach Kimono into a coin box and like, surprise, I have something powerful.
Imagine.
Because because that's the only way to approach giving another coin box this so close to other coin boxes, is that you almost make the coin box, skill not as OP as it already is.
I mean, maybe that's what they're trying to do. I mean, maybe they're trying to water down the player base in terms of Coinbox, and so that it's like, because the bottom line is like, I think if he is Coinbox, I truly think there'll be a lot of players that cannot go after him, that just can't. I mean, people just drained their accounts for gold check, and like there's a very small percentage. I mean, I'm talking probably maybe the top 1 or 2% that will go and drop major money on a ton of rubies to be able to drain us, especially if he's in spotlight, or if he's a non-spotlight again in a special pipe. The amount of players that will be able to get him will be very, very small. And so maybe I don't know, maybe they're trying to do that. I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic, and they would only make that decision because of money. So so if it's going to make them a lot of money, they'll make that decision. So, but I don't know if it would, is what I'm saying, is I just don't know if players would shell out a lot of money right now after shelling out for gold check and coming up upon the shop in changing into this new thing. It's almost a win-win for Nintendo, I feel like, in the terms of if they do put him in a non-spotlight, it's a win-win for Nintendo, because everybody goes, oh, everyone's like, oh, jerks. Then a bunch of whales go pool. So a bunch of whales go and pull on it, spend a bunch of money, and then everybody's like, oh man, I'm so excited for this new shop, this new shop dynamic. And people are so ready for that new shop. And so, I mean, there is strategic things at play in this, I feel like. So we'll see how it falls.
And also, this is the last time we can fire some pipes, so they maybe need to make something really appealing, like a coin box, to people go into this one before it's changed up. But anyways, you already know Mario, for me, it's no deal. Peach pipe, go in. I spent all my rubies account into this. I'm playing like over 1,000 into this. Like, I'm so really.
A madman of epic proportion, my sweet word.
I mean, that would be my fun for my last pool. But yeah.
Well, yeah. So I asked this question: how are you approaching the new structured shop? Are you saving resources like rubies and coins more, or is there a thought of cashing in on quick ticket refreshes and pipes and pulling as much as you can before they're all gone?
For me, right now, since the update of the quick tickets, I never spend any quick tickets, so I'm saving up until we see something different. Obviously, right now, since I did see the peach pipe, now my plan is shift because now I cannot save anymore. I want to take the most advantage of my last drivers I could get because I don't know how much they would be priced. If it's like 200 per drivers, I'd rather fire like 145 and get 2 IMs of drivers than spending 200 right now. So I think my decision right now is like spend a lot of rubies, get the most out of my drivers, save a bunch of tickets, and then moving forward to see how it goes and level up to what I need, because I think that's gonna help my daily select coins for like probably mini tour for saving some tickets and I think like that. And I would be broke for I would be broke for the spotlight, but I mean this is the better pipe I can ask for. Give me like 4 or 5.
This is the Draco pipe, man.
This is my pipe. I cannot deny this. I cannot dodge this one. I'm curious to see like what Kevin think about this because I know he's saving a lot of rubies. I don't know if he planned to spot, and I mean I think with the spotlight maybe that would be the better time for free to play to actually like maybe spend a little bit there. I'm really curious to see your thought there.
Yeah, I mean, people have been asking me, you know, are you finally going to spend your ruby? Since I've largely repudiated the gotcha the whole time.
Yeah.
Anytime I've done pipe pulls, it's always so disconcerting and uncomfortable. I've never felt great pulling for the pipe and always very relieved when it's over. But even with the shops transitioning now and there not being a gotcha, I'm still not going to just be purchasing things left and right. You know, part of that is because, you know, like you, Draco, I mean, you have the Mushroom Legacy. So that's, you know, Peach, Daisy. I have the Kongs. They haven't done anything for the Kongs. You know, and I try to think about it in part like on an analytical sense, like, okay, I could start dropping rubies. And mind you, I'm just a drop in the bucket, right? I mean, they have, you know, hundreds of thousands of players. So it's just one guy. It doesn't make a difference, but it's just a matter of principle where, you know, if I go for this Peach character or this Bowser character, that's just sending to their analytics, oh, we should make more Peach and Bowsers. Just like the DK versus Bowser tour, you know, DK got throttled. He didn't have any Coinbox support on his team. He had only Hakama and Polling Party Time, who were zeros back then. And we haven't seen anything since. No Rambi Runner recolors or, I mean, this year during May, they had just Coconut Mall with the doctors. So that's all they did for the Kong fans this year, and it's been.
You did get Coconut One. You got the tiny little cart that no one wants to use.
Yeah. So, oh, is that the coconut cart?
Yeah, the coconut one.
Yeah, coconut one.
I didn't even view that as a Kong thing. That's just like, I mean, they've done watermelon, apple, pumpkin. It's like that doesn't have any significance to me anyway.
That's
but I know the coconuts are in the DKC.
Are you not entertained? That's literally all they gave you. Yeah,
you're fine.
I mean, so I'm still going to be very conservative once the new shop comes out. But I do think for everybody out there in the audience, since nobody listening to this is a mega Kong fan, that you should save your rubies for the Spotlight shop because the most valuable thing in Mario Kart Tour is the thing that has yet to be released. So if you want to power your account into the future, it's not going to be anything you're going to pull an anniversary. Okay. Don't get caught up on King Mario. Wait for the Spotlight shop, folks. You can thank me later.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. Except if you're Mushroom Legacy, that's
well, of course.
Well, you know, I think if you have like, you know, a lot of things in your shop, Max, you should be using all your quick tickets now because we don't know what'll come. But right now, again, you know, assuming you have like all normals maxed, or, you know, for myself, I have all normals and like all super carts and gliders, but I don't have all my drivers. So for me, I'm using every quick ticket as soon as it comes up for the shop usage. Whereas if you don't have any of them maxed, then hold on to them because it's not going to help you do anything to refresh it. I know Raker asked it in our server. He's like, what should I do? I just have all normals maxed. I'm holding on these tickets. you know, my thought process is like, all we know is what we know right now. And if you're seeing, you know, 5 or 6 items that could be tickets, I probably would just use them now versus waiting, because we don't know what'll come from that. And so, you know, I'm always a little bit more conservative when it comes to what Nintendo will give us, because I do think that the shop is really, really difficult for the average player to max things out, just with the normals taking so many tickets to take them to that next level. So, you know, my thought process is that they're probably going to add more stuff to it, or make it much more harder to get those high ends. And I think, you know, for them, their goal would be that everyone can kind of just see that bottom row as the only way that they're getting high end tickets. And I don't know how they'll do that, but we'll have to see. But yeah, for like a quick ticket perspective, you know, it's really going to depend on what you have unlocked. And I think just, you know, work off of what we know right now. And if you're getting high end tickets to left and right, I mean, I honestly, I've been using my quick tickets when my shop's on fire, because I'm like, hey, you know, maybe now is when I cash in. But yeah, it's really going to depend on a case by case basis. Now, Crazy asks, you know, with the spotlight shots, with the spotlight shops edition next month, new spotlight items will likely be much more accessible for players, including free to play and gold pass only. My question is, would this encourage Nintendo to tilt the value even more into pack exclusive items? Will we see more valuable pack items and less valuable spotlight items going forward, since the spotlight shop makes these items easily obtainable? Now, before the show was starting, this, you know, I thought we had some questions about this question, so I wanted to kind of pose it in a little bit different light. So let's say in this situation where we get new items that would normally be in a 100 pipe, if they are now accessible via rubies, why can't, there's nothing stopping Nintendo from just taking out those new drivers or, you know, awesome stuff and putting those in the packs and giving, you know, like leftovers into these ruby purchases. Like, there's nothing stopping them from do that. Could they make these items that are in packs more valuable and hold those from us there? Or do you think that's going to actually get more backlash, because, you know, that's kind of skewing who's getting access to these items? I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that they'll do you think that the 100 pipes will be available via rubies, or do you think that they'll make items in packs more valuable?
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, well, they've done this before where they, like, I don't know if it was it Ice Tour, or it wasn't Ice Tour, but they put, well, yeah, actually wasn't that
Ice Mario in the 90 pack.
Freaking out about him being in a $40 pack or whatever. And then there was also gold dry bones. I could see them doing that more often now, like brand new characters in or like really valuable characters and released in packs or debuting in a pack. I could definitely see that becoming more common, but I also don't think they'll do it like too much. And plus, we have no idea like what the prices are going to be, or are they going to like look like the knees where it's 70 with the discount or whatever on debut versus 100, or like, I'm really curious to see how that's going to be. Like, are they going to shift it, varying, you know, if it's a coin box character, is it going to be like 150 rubies versus like a boomerang going to be 130? You know, we have no idea what it's going to look like. So it's really interesting to think about. But I definitely think they will put more things in packs on debut now.
Yeah, go ahead, Groovy.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you're up, man. You're up.
Oh, cool, sweet. So, wait, thank you. So I agree. I think they actually will do something essentially to that. Maybe with like a plot twist in a sense. They probably put like, you know, like some driver that you never use with a cart that you probably want to get type thing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like right now they've got like Captain Toad and the yellow off-roader. You're just kind of like, why yada, you know what I mean? And so it's just one of those things where I feel like they're going. For right now, I feel like they're going to try to draw in, like I said, draw in an audience to be like, here, you know what I mean? Buy this, you know what I mean? And like, it's everything you ever wanted sort of thing, you know what I mean? You're like, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like being drawn into it type thing. And after the next tour, it's going to be like, you know, second shelf. And after you're going to have to like, you know, start pulling, you know, and buying like, you know, certain like like packs and stuff and everything or the other, like in a sense where, like I said, it's probably gonna be a plot twist of like, you know, things that you don't need or, you know, things that you do need. And after, I feel like when it comes to like the spotlight shop as well too, it's gonna be like one of those things where what do you call it? Kronos was saying, where it's like, you know, I feel like for certain abilities, they're gonna start like, you know, charging you, you know, more rubies than, you know, for other abilities, you know what I mean? They're not gonna charge you like, you know, for example, like 100 rubies for like, you know, a dash ring or something or the other. They're probably gonna be like, here's a 25 rubies and take your dash ring character type thing, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and see you later. You know, I think they have, like you said, this is all like, you know, just speculation at the end of the day type thing, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where we're talking about this, and after, like, you know, when it all turns over and we see like, you know, what it presents to us on the new day, we're gonna be like, you know, like we're surprised, we're gonna be like, okay, we figured this was coming, and after some of it, we're gonna be like, dang, you know what I mean? Like, shoot, we never expected this one. Like, you know, like after it may draw our attention or it may deviate us, you know, from the game a bit type thing. I don't know. It's a hit or miss essentially for me. So
I'm not sure if I heard this from you, KG, but I think I want to give you credit on this, but talking about maybe drivers are like, you know, 100 rubies, but like carts are like 50 rubies or gliders are like 50 rubies. And maybe like that's the separation is between drivers and other items.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I would predict it would look like that is because in all the other shops, the drivers are stratified in cost compared to the carts and the gliders. So like the daily selects for the high ends, it's 12,000 for the driver and 10K for the cart and glider. And they recently just synchronized that up with the token shop this tour. All of the past token shops, whenever they gave away high-end gifts, it was always the same token cost for drivers, carts, and gliders, like 200 for each or 125 for each. But this tour is the first one where the driver is different from the cart and the glider. And I really think that that shows a concerted effort on their part to say, like, this is the way that we view our ecosystem. And I think that we should take notice of that when they do something like that.
I think for me, like, since they're gonna remove the pipes, I think the pack would be more high, and I think people would want to buy the spotlight shop, the pack, are the way to having more rubies and having new items. So I think they're gonna shift into like a couple of new items into the spotlight, and probably the better one into the packs. They can rotate things like that. So I think the pack would be an increased pack, and I think that would be the only way for us to get more rubies, and to maybe like to force new players to spend more money. So they're gonna give us better pack or more pack to spend, because we need stuff, we need items. So since we have no more pipes, well, that's gonna be one way to doing it. I don't know. I don't see anyone probably like to just buy the regular amount of rubies, since they're so much expensive. But yeah.
I think they have to.
Go ahead.
I just think they have to incentivize, because the gacha does not exist anymore. They have to figure out a way to make that money, because people were spending a lot of money on the gacha. So I mean, I would almost be willing to bet money right now that in about 3 months, a $40, or maybe they increase prices of packs. I mean, we haven't even talked about that, but I mean, I could see them coming out with a $40 pack, $50, $60 pack where Gold Chuck is there. Boom, Gold Chuck in a pack, $40, $60. You can buy him now. He's available. Like, I think that they will do that. I think that they'll start, because they've already, I mean, they do somehow track, or we know that they track what items the players are really investing in, and they bring those back. And so, I mean, you're gonna see these things start popping up in packs that are high value items to incentivize people to buy. And it's going to be a way for whales to continue to level up their high end items as well, which I do think there'll be an option. I would not be surprised if they did how they do in the tier shop right now, where they scale up those tickets. If you want to buy a normal ticket for 800, then it becomes 1,000, then it becomes 1,200, I think, or 1,500.
Yeah.
Like, I could totally see them being like, hey, first purchase of that driver, it's 100 rubies. Then it's 125. Then it's 150. or maybe if it's even more than that. Maybe it's like
Maybe it's
100 rubies.
200, 300 or something.
Yeah, maybe it's like 100, 200, 300, and they ramp it up so that like they're gonna give whales opportunities to spend money on the game. Those guys are the guys that are driving the bit main profit forward, and so they will give options like that in. And I think that obviously packs still are that, but it'd be interesting. I really think they might restructure packs a little bit. So going forward.
Yeah, just to note on that, I know I don't purchase packs, so I'm probably, you know, not the best person that should be speaking on this, but I like to look at things theoretically. And I kind of feel like the way how they've made the price point in Mario Kart Tour has been a detriment to them in a way, because like, let's just say that if they cut the price in half of the packs, but they increased the market share of the people buying those packs by like 2.5x, then they're making a lot more money. I always said like Nintendo should never run a casino because like they don't understand equities and things, right? Like it's kind of weird how they go about this stuff.
No, it's a good point, and I think they've been slowly blurring the lines. Like when we think of, like if we look at this commemorative pack that has a high end, a brand new high end, and a super, and it's like what, $7 or something, like $8. I don't even know what it is, but it's like, I don't know. They were starting with $3.99 and made it easier decision, and now they're kind of like dabbling a little higher, and then they're adding more value to the packs, and I feel like they almost want us to like not think of things on the same scales, and they almost want to just like start to blur it. So yeah, I mean, this maybe they're leading up to something unique like that to the point where they are adding some things at a lower cost, and then maybe even really good stuff at a much higher cost. I don't know, but yeah, they are kind of playing around with some of the values that we see. Yep, go ahead, Kronos.
Well, that actually reminds me, we hadn't seen this $7 pack thing in a really long time. I don't know if any of you remember, but there was, I think it was 2020, we had a $7 pack for a Luigi. I remember, because I wasn't a whale at this point. I was like, I don't have the super Luigi yet. It was literally like at the point where we were like all about comments and supers, comments and supers, I should say. They did a $7 15 ruby pack with Luigi, and I remember buying it and being like, yeah. So it's not new. Hasn't been done before. I remember that. That was like the one. They do have these weird little things they do here and there.
Little did you know, if you joined Team Luigi in the rally, you'd get one for free, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, half the stuff is super silly when we look back at it, but
yes.
The Ice Mario in a 90 ruby pack, and like he was the only top shelf. Like that honestly, that was
yeah.
Oh man, I remember that.
Probably the biggest blip on the entire game's radar. Like that was like the most monumental moment of Mario Kart Tour ever, probably.
I think I remember.
People were so mad about that.
People were very angry. The Reddit community was just freaking out. And
I think I saw like old videos, like I think back in the days, maybe 1 year or two, I see a not Dixie Kong, the Diddy Kong into I think a $50 pack or something.
40. Yeah, that's a famous one.
Wow.
That's one, yeah.
Yes,
By
the
yourself.
beginning were really bad. You could only buy them once. You couldn't buy them 3 times.
That's expensive.
Oh wow. And then of course with this tour we have like 18 packs. Each one having like a monster amount. Yeah, I don't know, man. The game's gonna get a little weird, but I like it. If they get weird, I think it's gonna get a little bit. Could potentially bring people in, but ultimately, like right now, they got nothing to lose. Like I think their back's against the wall, and I think they have to go big or go home, and either that or just take the game to as many countries that they weren't able to as possible, and so either strategy might help, but I think they have to go big with battle mode. I think changing around the shop has to be. I mean, that's the one thing is I hope that they're like, and so I kind of bring this every once in a while, is that sometimes you see a pack or you see something that I call like a baseline pack. This is just to see who would buy basic garbage, and and like because you have to think about like, hey, we're providing value here, and then they, you know, give you like who would buy this and who would buy that. I'm hoping like they're, you know, all this data is like, hey, you know, day one, you know, 55% of people that of this purchase history are buying this. And like, I mean, honestly, if they're actually doing their job right and they're actually collecting all the data on and profiling certain players certain ways and understanding their buying habits the way that Amazon does, like if they're doing all this right, they can move into this next phase really, really well. But if they're goofing around and they have a bunch, if intern 4 is now like the manager, like we're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's with the Shy Guy gold pack, right? It's like things like that where it's just like, I don't get that. I just don't get that pack. I mean, like, and obviously, I think they've been doing that testing. I mean, they've been testing that stuff with those 90 ruby 1-item packs. They've been testing that. You watch them do it. They'll introduce one that doesn't matter. Then they'll introduce Fire Flower. That's a huge thing that people are like, oh, are they going to actually buy this? They're going to drop $40 for 1 item and the 90 rubies. I mean, obviously, because really you're buying the rubies and you're getting the bonus of an item. But it's like, I think they've been testing that and been figuring out of like, what will people actually buy and what will they not? And so it's, I mean, they're collecting that data.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, one thing that we've been talking about a lot, at least on the free-to-play side of the community, is how the value of pack items has really gotten stratified from that of the value of the items in the pipe. And that's because with the influx of all these new items that are being brought in tour in and tour out, and also the concentration of courses isn't changing much. It's stagnated, right? So you have your Bowser's Castles, your Wario Shipyards, and it's really slowed down the buffing cycle on a lot of these new items. I mean, StudFit, you've been tracking this, you know, right alongside. And it's really changed the progression of how these items accrue their value compared to year 2. So we don't really have these big value alerts like we did in year 2. Like there were certain items like Tanuki Rosalina right at the start of year 3. Everybody knew that was going to be a superstar. And, you know, she was queen. She was an amazing accessory to Coinbox and overall course coverage. But we don't really see that with items this year. And by contrast, we look at items like the Yellow Off-Roader, the Armored Rider, right? And all these 8-bit gliders, you know, they're all just powerhouses. And that's also stratifying, you know, the Dolphin player, the one who will buy a pack here and there compared to Gold Pass only.
Yeah, 2021 was year of the patterns. And then 2022 has been year of like the exact opposite. Just chaos. Like whatever, just absolute chaos, just absolute pandemonium. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. But like, I honestly think that the battle mode has, like, whatever's coming up with this update has to literally flip the table upside down for us to be like, all right, we got to figure this out. Because we're like, we just want to figure everything out. We just want to know what's going on. So like, we're picking up on trends over here. Do you think this will continue? And we're just, you know, probably thinking way too much about it. But like, that they've been trying to use for reverse psychology all year round, and at least 2022. And like now this has to, they literally have to, you know, black is white, white is black. Like with this next update has to literally flip things up to get people really, really excited. They have to. So I don't know. We'll see what that ends up looking like. But yeah, there was some additional questions though about this upcoming anniversary tour. You know, we've kind of already talked about Mario and the skill, and if he'll be in a special pipe. I don't know if he'll be non-spotlight or not, but we already touched on that. But what do you think about this gold Mario? Do you think he'll come? You know, and specifically, we saw this gold standard, so immediately we're all like, "Oh, gold Mario, 3rd anniversary, it's going down." But then he wasn't in today's video. So do you think he's still coming, or do you think that this gold standard had nothing to do with that? What's your thoughts on this gold Mario, maybe with a vacuum skill?
No, not coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't see it either. You know what I mean? It's like don't hold your breath kind of thing, because you're probably just gonna end up like, you know, a fish in the water without, you know.
I mean, he has a chance to come, I think. I mean, if they really need a reskin of Mario's, that's one of them. I mean, they're gonna probably bring in at some point. If they bring back this card, there's hope for the other one. And like any other, like Oni Queen, that's a good one. I know like Oni Queen was into MK7, and then that was I think that was a unique characters for this game, even for Rob for the DS. And I'm pretty sure at some point those two would come with time with TikTok Clock and other tracks in the future. So I think there's some chance, there's some hope, but maybe not right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a. I think Golmaro will come to the game. I mean, Sammy's talked about this a lot though, and I mostly align with him of like, I think it's going to come towards the end of the life of the game. I mean, I think it'll be like a last hurrah thing where they introduce him in. It's kind of this really exciting, just almost maybe even an achievement guy, like just a guy that like comes in. It's like, okay, you know, I could see him being a gold me suit level type thing where it's like, oh, reach tier 120 or wherever we're at down the road of like, oh, and you get Gold Mario as this big, you know, this big ultimate game ending character that's like he vacuums up all the coins. Like, and so I mean, who knows? But I do think he comes to the game. I do. I think he will come, but I don't think anytime soon. I mean, I think like Draco's saying, I mean, there's so many characters out there that they can bring to the game. And I think that they'll hold on to him for a while.
Kronos?
Yeah, I mean, the problem with like the Gold Mario thing is, didn't Mankalore like test the Gold Mario in a race, and the coin vacuum skill like barely works? Like how it works in the actual like coin rush is different than how it works in a race. Like it's actually not even close to the same. So it would have to be like a brand new, like separate Gold Mario, like in the game files that would have like a different like way how it works. I don't know. It's kind of weird because when everyone was speculating when we first saw that, I think it was before Nabbit was released, and they saw, oh my goodness, coin vacuum, what is this? And then it was like, oh wait, this is just Gold Mario's thing for the coin rush. So I think we'll get him maybe eventually, but technically, I mean, he's already in the game on the other hand.
For sure.
I've not seen that video. Now it makes me curious. Maybe if I find it, I'll put it in the description of the of this video. But that's interesting. I'll have to check that out. Obviously, I've been watching Mankalore for a while, so and somehow I missed that. But yeah, appreciate that point of view. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So the other question we had about the anniversary is, what do you enjoy most about the anniversary? It's been a while, obviously, since we've seen cities. Are you excited to get back on the city tracks?
I am. For me, like I love to have a new ways to play the game. And I mean, for once, that was not my first experience where I started into the second anniversary, and it was impossible to cover some track, and it was so hard for me to play. So at least I would have a better experience this time around. But I think I would just chill, play a level, try to get to 200, taking the time to grind those track because they will probably not return for a while. So I'm going to take the time for doing that and just enjoying this last tour we have before the battle mode, and just chilling a little bit. Not focus on ACR because I think like those I-10 will be a hard time to see if they have good value or not, because they probably going to have all city values already at the start. So yeah, gonna do the same as Metropolitan Tour, just keep player level as high as I can and take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like somewhat excited. I'm always excited for a new tour. I mean, there's always excitement around it. I think sometimes I wonder how fast I'll burn out on the tour, really, because day 1 and 2, 3 will be fun. I just wish, I'm a little disappointed. I know there's been some talk in the Discord. I'm a little disappointed at the city choices in general. Like, I just wish there was a little bit more variety. Or I mean, we've talked forever of like, I really wish they would just shift over to mixing in at least a city each tour into like tours, and so that, you know, you have 4 or 5 races or 6 races out of the 36 or cities.
It's too easy.
So it's like
their Firestorm.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. So Nintendo, if you're listening, please, we've said it millions of times. It's
I think that's part of what makes a tour like this to be so special, though, is the fact that they don't do that.
Yeah, For sure. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy it. Absolutely. There's a few cities that I just don't enjoy though. I mean, and a couple of them are on this one. So, and I think that it's just interesting because these tours with all the cities, there's people like me who, I want to win ranked. It's like, that's part of the biggest draw of the game for me. And my loadouts as a gold pass plus guy suck pretty bad on cities. I mean, they're just not good most of the time. And so it's always a little bit of a stressful tour because it's like, okay, I just got to kind of swallow my pride and be like, I'm just not going to compete as much because I don't want to go and invest all my tickets into city drivers that are going to disappear for 3-4 months until I see them again. So that's my thoughts.
Just a point on New York Minute, since I know a lot of people out there are disappointed that we didn't see New York Minute in the trailer. I just want to remind everybody that the data mine battle courses included New York Minute and Paris Promenade. So we could be seeing New York Minute sooner than we realize, although not in the 3rd anniversary tour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so tell us more about that. So it was data mined that there is a battle course that's
right.
New York Minute.
Well, it has a sound file. I would imagine, since I haven't heard the sound file myself, that it's some kind of an alteration on the typical New York Minute track. And there's also one for Paris Promenade, which would lead us to think that, okay, maybe we can go through the New York Minute course, but maybe we can go through all of the routes, which would be interesting actually for battle mode if you think about it, since it's not, I mean, it is a closed circuit, but you can take different routes. So that could be strategic in, a battle mode type of setting.
Because we don't have a break, so maybe that if we have multiple paths, we can choose.
I hear people say it a lot, like, well, we don't have breaks. They'll allow us to have breaks. I'm not worried about that. They'll make it. We will have breaks. I promise you that in battle mode we'll have breaks. There's no doubt that we'll have breaks. Like, I don't know. I hear that a lot. It blows my mind. People don't think that they'll give us breaks. You have to have breaks for battle mode, right?
I agree. I think you have to have it in order for you to sort of manipulate your opponent and sort of having them fly forwards, not you can snipe them
I mean, or go ahead. Sorry, Groovy.
No, I'm good. I'm done. It's great. You go ahead.
I was just, as you guys were saying, it's like, I don't think they have to do breaks. I mean, there are ways, depending on how the level is designed, to where they could incorporate it to not be breaks. They could put in the treadmills that are switch things. So when you're driving, you hit them and it can switch you around going the other way, be made a little disorienting possibly. But I mean, there's ways to create abilities depending on how they design the actual level itself to where we wouldn't have a break button. I mean, they could put in a break button into the game. I mean, but there are ways that they could do it without breaks and it still work.
I mean, maybe that's what took them so long to be able to come out with battle mode, because the way that they programmed it, it had basically to build a new game or something like that.
I mean, I legitimately think that the main reason why they've had trouble with bringing battle mode to the players is some of the faults with multiplayer, in that it's the transfer of data is from user to user. So the servers aren't controlling, the connections. It's all between the users themselves. And there's a lot of discrepancies that occur in multiplayer, such as you fire a shell, but you don't see that they have a defensive item, but they actually do. And then they get hit and people are like, what happened there? Just transfer those moments in multiplayer to that of battle mode, and you could see how a lot of problems arise from that. So they really have to find a way to make those connections more accurate, more secure, so that way that information is more readily available to us and it's a streamlined game flow. And they actually did mention that they did optimizations with what is it called, the system on the back end of it to make it a more streamlined experience. That was their exact words, in fact.
Yeah. Well, and I know that's I got into the game because my friends wanted to play multiplayer, and then we experience what we experience all the time, this like little lag thing that's going on. Yeah, so I mean, that's a huge chink in the armor of multiplayer. It is a major flaw in that. So I think, yeah, if they came out with battle mode and it was just half butted,
laggy.
yeah, then yeah, I'm with you there. I think they do, if they come out with it, it has to be precise. It has to be. And the thing is like, let me just ask this, because I'm not a big gamer, but like if you're playing like you know, some of these shooter games, like how true it is, like the I'm shooting you, it actually hits you, like how like it has to be pretty streamlined, right?
I mean, it's based on your connection. I mean, your ping, your latency, like there's all sorts of things built into gaming, online gaming. And I mean, there are literally online games like people don't play because it's frustrating, because the people that have the fastest internet are the best. It's impossible to not be competitive. You can't be competitive if you don't have, like, you know, you're talking about Counter-Strike, these games that were big over the years. I mean, guys that, if you were playing that game to be ranked, to be high up in those games, it's because you had a great internet and like very little latency. And that's what made you successful. So, I mean, there is that aspect to gaming that is just almost kind of like it's just built into the acceptance. So you just kind of have to accept, if I have crappy internet, I probably shouldn't play battle. And that might be part of it. I mean, that might just be part of it. So.
Yeah, Smash Ultimate is the same way, as like if you have good internet and very good one, you can battle like pretty easily. And otherwise, if you have some lags, it's almost like 2 second, 3 second delay on your move, and it's impossible to play. So it's a huge thing.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe Nintendo was waiting for the right technology to build it on, or something like that, and maybe they came out with it. I don't know. It's all speculation.
I mean, MK8 Deluxe was very bad internet, and it still is today. So I don't know about that, but I mean, we'll see.
All right. Well, I will say we're coming up on our 2 hours here together. So I wanted to ask one last question. I think there's one question specifically I wanted to get to. I think that came from Big Brolo. So give me 1 second here. So Big Brolo asks, and I think this is helpful because with KG on here, but Big Brolo asks, you know, since hitting tier 80, I've been enjoying the T-ball ranked groups where I've been doing very little investments to get the W. However, my Dons in tier 71, 79 have been running through the gauntlet with fierce competitions. Is this the case everywhere? Is this a sign that tier 90 is around the corner? If Nintendo is listening, never mind what I said. Tier 80 is super hard, fixed ranked. But I know KG takes a lot of time and effort to look into the ranked algorithm. You know, I've had the thought personally that when I spend more than I was before, that's when Nintendo likes to give me really tough ranked. And so when I think the very first tour that I did not spend as much as, like, I started this GP90X. The following week, I think I had, you know, Kronos, or maybe it was you or somebody else. I had you in ranked, and you know, a former top 10 player, a really competitive player. But before that, I was having T-ball competitions, and then after that week, it was back to T-ball competition. So my personal thought is that how much you spend does actually ratchet up, you know, the competition. But I know, KG, you're pretty honed in on this, but do you sense anything different going on in ranked here recently, and get the rest of the field's thought process on, you know, ranked specifically? Is the top competition been getting recently easier or tougher or the same?
There's so many components to this. Like from my personal experience, since I am free to play, I'm generally around tier 55. So the tiers that you're talking about here, they don't apply to my personal account. However, what I look at in my personal account is that on a week-to-week basis, they do manipulate the algorithm. I should really say on a tour-to-tour basis more than a week-to-week basis. And it's oftentimes linked with the reward thresholds that they apply. So for example, if they're giving away like the question block me racing suit, you know, they may likely put in a throttle, as I would call it, or you know, they'll reach for one opponent specifically in your group, or maybe 2 or 3 that are far and away above the competition of the rest of the group, versus a tour like the Mario Vs Luigi Tour, where they're giving away the gold standard for, at my tier, the top 3 places. then it's T-ball competition, as they would say here. But I'm looking at the question and I'm wondering, they said tier 80 is super hard, but it's T-ball when they're at tier 80. So does that mean it's difficult to get to 80? Is that what they're asking?
He's saying that tier 80 seems to be really easy for Big Brolo. So he's wondering if tier 90 would be coming here soon. But he wonders when he talks to his friends, they're in tier 71, 79. It's crazy hard.
Yeah, what I've been hearing from Gold Pass only players as well as free-to-play players who are, pursuing tier 80 is that it's a bloodbath in the tier 70s. And that's because essentially the way how the algorithm is pulling in your ranked opponents is based on they narrowed it down after the second anniversary, where they can only give you opponents who are tiered within 10 of you, or maybe 11, I think has been the max. So if you're at tier 74, for example, you're pulling from the same set of competition as a tier 80 player, except your account doesn't have the equity that a tier 80 player has. So that's why it feels so difficult to get up to tier 80, because on average, you're facing very similar competition. And if you read on, the various community servers out there, you'll often see people comment on like, oh, wow, your tier 72 group is more difficult than my tier 80 group. And that's just, the state of the way that the game is at right now. I don't think that that's signaling that tier 90 is on the horizon. I personally wouldn't expect tier 90 until we see potentially level 9 in early 2023, because that's historically been the time when they do increase the tier, is alongside the enhanced inventory level.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin there. I think from my personal experience, since I play like already restrained with drivers, and since if I have a good loadout, my drivers will always going to be good there. I mean, right now, I think I have like every time we have question block or like a V-suit, my competition was a little bit higher than expected, and otherwise it's quite easy. I always going high and high, and I'm close to tier 69 right now. So I'm getting closer to like the range of 70, and I'm getting quite scared because I don't know what to expect. Honestly, that could be easy or it could be hard. I don't know if it's going to be more suited into ranking. That could change some stuff as well. But I mean, I'm already playing like a disadvantage already to start. So I don't know. I'm kind of scary now. Like I'm scared, but.
I can also echo. I mean, the road to the gold me suit for me was a lot longer than a lot of people, just because I'm not a whale, but I did finally get to tier 80, and it was a slog. I mean, it was crazy, and I had to spend a lot of my resources to get there. I mean, I had to spend, there was a few weeks from 76 to 80. There's a couple of weeks where I had to spend almost all of my resources each tour just to get in the top 3, like just to get third place, just to try and tier up, because I was chasing the gold me suit. But then as soon as I got gold me suit, my things have all been T-ball as well. So I mean, I've had easy rank ups ever since I hit tier 80. Now, just to add a little bit more data onto it, I have a free to play account, and I was trying to get to tier 50 as my free to play account so I could get access to some of these to the me suit rewards. That was also probably some of the hardest competition I've ever had in the game. I mean, to get to tier 50, and even now I've experienced really, really hard matchups in the lower tier 50, like in 50, 51 with my free to play account. Like I'm getting guys every week, and that's why I don't understand how it's such a weird algorithm, because I will get right now, I'll get people up in that tier, tier 60, tier 61, just outscoring me by, 30,000, 40,000 points. Like there's just no way for me to even touch it. So,
and that's where it really boils down to how you're crafting the inventory and also how you're playing. So like where I would classify your free to play account right now is I would call that like on the leading edge, which is where, you're outputting the full capacity of your account. And Nintendo and the algorithm is pushing back against that, because they're trying to coerce you into spending in the game, which you're not doing on your free to play account. But that's the mechanism, right? So my account, if we roll back to the second anniversary, I was right around the same tier that I am now. Maybe I think I was a few tiers lower. But basically this whole year, I just decided, okay, I don't care about tier. Let's see what happens. And now I'm basically like a whale in my own tier where I don't even have to invest. Like my levels are so good. And then I just tank certain weeks where I don't play. And then it's like an automatic win. And I've had people write to me in the comments and they say, it's amazing what I see happening in your ranked group because you're 2 tiers above me, but your ranked group is thousands of points easier than my group. So, I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing that we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool, guys. Go ahead, Kronos.
Yeah, the whole ranked tier, whatever algorithm makes no sense to me. It's really confusing. Like it changes many times. Back when I was just when I wasn't a whale, I can remember a time when I had the same person in my ranked 3 weeks in a row, and I think it's an he's also an ER now, but it's Blaze, and I lost like 2 in a row, and I finally beat him the 3rd time. And then once I started spending money on the game, ranked became much easier and easier. I haven't really lost since then, but I can think of like weeks where, you know, all of us, like pretty much all of us will have the same exact player in ranked. We'll all notice this one player that's common to all our ranked. It's really weird. You know, it just like changes every once in a while.
It's very weird. Well, hopefully they offer new ranks for battle mode. Who knows, maybe even a tier 90 one day. But guys, we've come up on 2 hours from when we got together. And we had a little bit of a later start, but that gives us enough time for us to just be able to say goodbye. The way that we've been doing this for the last, I don't know, 10, 20 episodes, we've just been giving one piece of advice for a new player. So yeah, I'll say Draco, you've probably done this a number of times. We'll let you start and show everyone how to do it. But yeah, why don't you say goodbye to your fans, your Mushroom Legacy?
Yeah.
And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to Draco655. He's at like 800 subscribers. We're rooting for him to get to 1,000. That's when he can start to have some fun with his channel. So follow the link in the description and definitely sub to him. But Draco, what would you like to say to your fans? And then what one piece of advice would you have for a new player?
Sure. I mean, I always have fun, even if I hit higher than 1K subs, because Mushroom Legacy is the best thing in the world. I mean, like I said, all the time, have fun with your account, have fun with the investment you made, because you decide of what you make your pillar. And I, like, Kevin inspired me like so much with his thoughts and tips like that. And also like reach out to Studfit, reach out to Kevin, or even for me, or even any content creator who doing Mario Kart Tour. I'm pretty sure they will welcome you into the community and talk with them, learn from them. If you don't know anything, just ask them and join the Discord, because this is where we all are. And I think this is the best way to play the game as a community, and don't play alone. This is just don't play alone. Just play with friends. So yeah, that's my piece of advice.
Awesome. KG, what piece of advice would you have for people? And then if you somehow have been living under a rock and you haven't been following Kevin Garrett, definitely check out his channel, just Kevin Garrett, not the singer, but the Mario Kart Tour YouTube. We'll have a link to his channel as well. Surpassed 1,000 subscribers a while ago, but I would say it was a lot harder to, I think, hit 2,000 subscribers than it was hitting 1,000. So I think some of us are slowly climbing. So definitely check him out. Hopefully help him get up to 2,000 subscribers. And if for some reason you're listening to this and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I literally think I'm like 80 people away from hitting 2,000. So it'd be cool if you subbed to Kevin Garrett and also myself and just but anyway, Kevin, take away from there. What piece of advice would you have for a new player, and say goodbye to all your awesome fans?
Well, first of all, let me give an early congratulations on the 2,000 for StudFit. Come on, folks, click the subscribe button for StudFit. Do it right now. You won't regret it. I honestly, I have such a great appreciation for all the panelists now and in past episodes. The Mario Kart Tour community is why all of us are still playing this game. The game is really good. It keeps getting better, but it also gets a lot stagnant. And I think having those bonds in the community really make the experiences that we share all the more richer. Yeah. In terms of the advice that I would give is that there's so many ways to go about being successful in this game. So why not choose the one that means the most to you personally? It will bring you the most enjoyment and fulfillment at the end of the day. And then, you can be a little bit adventurous there and have an experience of creating a unique account for yourself.
Love it. Love it. Appreciate that. Hey, Kronos, why don't you jump in? I know this is your first episode, but what piece of advice would you have to a new player, and welcome your new fans? You've been a little bit quiet, but every time you've jumped in, you came in with the hot fire. So appreciate you dropping the knowledge on us, man.
Let's see. Well, piece of advice. I mean, I would say never pull on a non-spotlight item, because I tell you, that gold chuck, I got completely screwed. But now new players aren't gonna have to worry about that soon enough. I spent like $400, didn't even get him. Didn't get him. So I'm very happy that it's going away. But let's see now. Yeah, definitely join communities, because that's how it gets you like involved. And I definitely probably wouldn't be playing if I wasn't part of my Discord server, the Discord servers I'm in, the Reddit. I mean, it started on Reddit for me, and then it went to Discord. And then I joined DR. So I've been pretty active. Yeah, definitely get into the community, definitely get talking. It helps bring things out,
Awesome, man. Appreciate that. Groovy, why don't you say hello to your fans in Stevie Wonder style, however you want to do that, and what piece of advice would you give to a new player?
Essentially, I would just say, just do what you want. Personally, you know what I mean? Like, no one can really tell you, like, what you choose to want to do with what you have, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to invest in a bubble character, by all means, invest in a bubble character. You want to invest in the Hammer Bro, invest in Hammer Bro. If you want to do like Draco and Legacy, do Draco and Legacy, you know what I mean? Or, formulate just like a whole male squad, or it doesn't matter, anything, whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? It's just do what you choose to want to do, because you lived your life once, you know what I mean? It's just a game. It's like like if someone criticizes you, that's that person, like that's their opinion. Has nothing to do with anybody else. It's about what you want to do with the game, essentially, so it's all peace and love at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's community of people that will embrace you and accept you for who you are. So it's just one of those things, man. You just gotta fit yourself into the right surroundings, into the correct audience of people that that benefits you and that will support you, like in the long run, essentially, you know what I mean? So just have fun and don't break your phone. That's it. That's another thing too. So.
Even when you get Mario Karted.
And be fast, Groovy.
Yeah, dude, trust me, I'll be carrying you. It's okay, buddy.
We already got some bad blood already going here, but Firestorm, what piece of advice would you have to say goodbye to your fans?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have fans out there, but thanks for watching, guys. I mean, this is so fun. I think that just thinking about even this group, thinking about really with Groovy as well, just early on in the game, like jump in a voice chat, like join a Discord. We're talking about the community, but I think even a step further, like I think the game became so much richer when I found myself wandering into these late night voice chat sessions on the Discords and just started talking and laughing and talking about all sorts of things. I mean, it really is a really sweet community. I mean, I know all of us echo that. I just like, and so, very welcoming as well. I mean, I know there most nights there's a voice chat open somewhere where people are hanging out and just streaming and racing and ribbing each other and having some fun. And so it's just a good time. So find a voice chat. You're gonna make some great friends, and they're gonna be sitting at a restaurant with them, hanging out with them down the road, which has happened a couple times for me. And it's a good time. So yeah, just take those moments and invest relationally with the community. So
one last thing, just to piggyback off of Kevin, you know what I mean? Just a whole lot of respect for the panelists and for here, you know what I mean? Like, Studfit, Draco, Kevin, Kronos, seeing your face for the first time, because all I see is that, you know, the looking dude every single time, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, damn, what's this guy really look like? Is he like, you know, 8 foot tall, you know, shaggy beard or something, you know, P5 full palm? I don't know, man. You know, and Firestorm, man, it's always a pleasure, my friend. And big shout out to Gilded Racers. That's my team. So guys, you know what I mean? One love always. One love to you guys always. You know what I mean? It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
I told you, Groovy. Groovy. Told you.
All right. Hey, I'll let you guys take this offline or online.
Yeah.
But no, thank you guys all for joining. You know, I've very good friends with all of you. I can honestly say that. And so it's been awesome to have you guys. Every time we have a new episode, it's like, you know, I'm like, oh, I love everyone here. Like, this is going to be awesome. And it always is. And so it's always fun to have a phenomenal episode. Appreciate you guys all taking time out of your Friday night to join me and have this discussion. I think for my piece of advice is, you know, just embrace whatever change comes, because I do feel that Nintendo has a phenomenal core game, and you know, we take it a little too extreme, but I think if you embrace the changes, I think Nintendo, at least if there's one thing that we've proven this year, is that Nintendo's taking good care of us, and you know, I do think that I think that they learned from the multiplayer mistake of you know, kind of some of the issues. I think they wanted to release battle mode when it's fully fleshed out, when it's fully working. So, you know, whatever this update comes with, just take it in stride. Just know that this is the next phase of the game. Don't do anything too extreme. Just, you know, what was the not the meme, but like the picture was like stay calm and with the crown in the middle of the picture, you know what I'm saying?
Stay calm in Taiwan type thing or whatever.
Yep. So I think that's kind of the motto that we have to have, is just relax, stay calm, you know, don't do anything too crazy with your resources, but just to enjoy the game. And if you have not tapped into a community, please do it. There are so many great communities out there. I really hope that they include like alliances or clans in this next phase of the game, because I really think I have not met a friendlier group of people than this Mario Kart Tour community. I really hope that they just create more avenues for us to connect together. So thank you guys all for joining us. Thank you for watching at home. Until next time, may the friends you luck be with you guys.
Bye.
See ya from Nebraska.